Welcome back. The Associated Press is reporting tonight that a registered sex offender who was working as an unpaid intern for Democratic Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey is now facing deportation after being arrested by federal immigration authorities. A U.S. official at the Homeland Security Department reportedly instructed immigration agents not to arrest the 18-year-old Luis Abraham Sanchez Zalavella until after Election Day. Sanchez entered the U.S. on a now expired visitor's visa from Peru. He was arrested December 6th at his New Jersey home. Before we move on, guys, does this type of thing surprise you?
That's outrageous. I mean, really? I mean, a registered sex offender who is in violation of
an unpaid intern.
They knew who the person was, and they intentionally waited till after. What did it matter to the election? I mean, the fact of the matter is that if the person, and we didn't even know what their crime was, an unregistered sex offender, but were they a hazard to the community? Right. I mean, wherever they were working. Whether they work for Senator Menendez or for, the local convenience store, if somebody is here in violation of their immigration papers and a registered sex offender, I think that those are the people that we can safely say should be, either self-deported, as Governor Romney said, or the immigration authorities and Homeland Security should do their job. But I think it's absolutely horrific that Homeland Security put a hold on it.
I have to move on with Democratic response quickly.
Yeah, the facts don't sound too good, Dominic, but it's also a report that was just released an hour ago, so I'm sure there's more to the story.
Okay. It's not the crime, it's the cover-up.
Okay.
That's the case.
Well, let's move on now to other political issues. The New York City race for mayor is starting to heat up with a new potential Republican contender. MTA Chairman Joe Loda's name has been floated as a possibility. How do you think that he would do? Nick, take off your Democratic hat for a second. How would Loda do? He's been around for a long time.
I think it's an uphill battle for him. I think this is after 20 years of Republican mayors, I think you now have a pretty strong Democratic field, led by Speaker Quinn, de Blasio, Thompson. These are all pretty well-respected figures. Unless Loda can put a ton of money from the business community behind him, I have a hard time seeing how he's going to win. But it's also a long time in politics, especially in New York City. So I'm sure there are many more pages of the New York City mayoral race story.
Give Loda a chance. He hasn't said that he's running. Right. He hasn't said much about this.
And I'll just step aside from whether it's Joe or another candidate. But the fact of the matter is that in this Democratic primary, they're going to all run so far to the left that they may actually scare the electorate into electing another Republican. Especially because, and you're right, Nick. I mean, it is a strong field, but they know, you have smart politicians and they know how to win primaries. And you see it with de Blasio, who's a very good candidate and a very good politician. You see it with Billy Thompson, you see it with Chris Quinn. They're all going to go to the left to try to grab that base. And in doing so, the question will be how much of the general election electorate do they alienate?
Right. Not to mention, you're probably going to see a very bloody Democratic primary, which I would be surprised if somebody comes out clean out of that
Really
primary.
Bloody with the female candidate, African American? You really think it's going to be a bloody primary?
Maybe John Liu.
Right.
And maybe John Liu.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you'll see them. They'll go after each other pretty well there.
Well, Christine Quinn, an endorsement from Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who appears to be a strong supporter of hers. Dave Catafamo, is that a good thing or a bad one?
Hurts in the primary, helps in the general.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I'm not sure how much it hurts in a primary. Bloomberg still has pretty good numbers in a Democratic primary. Some people might even call him a Democrat, if not by name, then by policy, right? So
I think most Republicans would, yes.
Yeah, I think most Republicans would. That's probably why I'll never run for president. But she's got some certainly on some issues like gay marriage, she's seen it as even the most liberal person in the race, right? So. That's the balance for her, is how does she cater to both the business community and Bloomberg and that side. But there's going to be a race for liberal voters as well, so we'll see.
His endorsement for her, though, is loaded because they've been governmental partners. And that's why I don't think it works for her in the primary. Not because of his numbers as much, is because of their partnership, running government. So then she gets to own and become an extension, a fourth term of Bloomberg.
I think the Bloomberg endorsement in general becomes a double-edged sword. I think Bloomberg's popular. I don't think a Bloomberg fourth term is popular. So if somebody gets tagged as the fourth term of Bloomberg, I think they're going to have a bit of a problem.
Before we break here, Bill Thompson, former city controller, do you give him much of a shot? Or does Quinn have the nomination?
I mean, I would say I would say they're all pretty formidable. I mean, a Democratic primary is, you know, is not sort of as a percentage of the electorate is not as white as people would think. You know, if he's a strong candidate who builds a coalition of African American, Hispanic communities, that's a pretty formidable thing. 60% of the electorate is women, so Chris Quinn's got a shot. You know, Bill de Blasio's comes from Brooklyn, which is the highest population in the city. So they all have these pretty big bases. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
What's Bloomberg's next move? Quickly on this, Dave Katafamo. I'll take a break here.
I don't, whatever he wants to do, except for run for president.
Except for run for president. On that note, it is time for a break. But when we return, we will show you why there's virtually nowhere to hide in today's world. We'll bring you the next installment of our series titled Surveillance Nation. Next, that's coming up. Stay with us.